In a small and quiet village, there lived a boy named Daniel. He came from a very poor family. His house was old, small, and cold in winter. His parents worked hard every day, but they never earned enough money. Sometimes they did not even know how they would buy food for the next day. Daniel was different from other boys in the village. While others played games and laughed, Daniel often helped his parents or read old books. He believed that education could change his life, even though no one around him believed the same. At school, Daniel wore old clothes and broken shoes. Some classmates laughed at him. They said, "You will always be poor. People like you never succeed." These words hurt Daniel deeply. But instead of giving up, he kept them in his heart as motivation. He told himself quietly, "I will prove them wrong." Daniel loved learning. He borrowed books from teachers and studied at night under a weak lamp. When electricity went off, he continued reading by candlelight. He was tired, but he never stopped. One day, his teacher asked the class about their dreams. Some said they wanted to be rich. Some said they wanted an easy life. When it was Daniel's turn, he said calmly, "I want to change my life and help my family." The classroom became silent. Many students smiled and did not take him seriously. Even some teachers thought his dream was too big. But Daniel did not care. He believed in himself, even when no one else did. That night, Daniel looked at the stars and made a promise. No matter how hard life becomes, I will keep learning. I will work harder than anyone. This promise would change everything. Life was not easy for Adam. He lived in a small house with his parents and two younger sisters. His father worked as a daily laborer, but the money was never enough. Some days, there was only bread and tea for dinner. Adam often went to bed hungry, listening to his parents quietly worrying about money. At school, Adam felt different from other students. His clothes were old, and he did not have expensive books or a smartphone. Some classmates laughed at him. Others ignored him completely. When teachers asked about his future plans, Adam stayed silent. Deep inside, he felt ashamed and unsure of himself. Many people believed Adam would stay poor forever. "People like us don't succeed," his neighbors often said. These words were painful, but Adam listened carefully. Instead of believing them, he made a quiet decision in his heart. "I will not let this life define me." Adam discovered one powerful thing: education. The school library became his favorite place. It was warm, quiet, and full of books. He started reading every day after school. He read about history, science, and successful people who started with nothing. These stories gave him hope. At first, studying was hard. Adam did not understand everything, and sometimes he felt tired after long days of work and school. But he reminded himself, every small effort matters. Even 1 hour of study was better than giving up. Slowly, something changed. Adam's grades improved. His teachers noticed his effort and dedication. For the first time, someone said, "You are smart. You have potential." Those words stayed in his mind and gave him strength. Adam began to believe in himself. He understood that self-belief is the first step to changing your life. As time passed, Daniel slowly became different from other boys in his neighborhood. While they spent evenings playing on the streets, Daniel sat under a small lamp, reading borrowed books and writing notes in an old notebook. His progress was slow, but he never stopped. At school, teachers started noticing his effort. His grades were not perfect, but they improved step by step. One teacher, Mr. Harris, saw something special in Daniel. He noticed Daniel's discipline and hunger to learn. One day, after class, Mr. Harris spoke to him. "Daniel," he said kindly, "you may not have money, but you have something more powerful: determination. If you keep working like this, you can change your future." Those words stayed in Daniel's mind. For the first time, an adult truly believed in him. However, life was still hard. Sometimes Daniel had to miss school to help his family earn money. On those days, he felt frustrated and tired. He asked himself, why is life so unfair? But instead of giving up, he reminded himself why he started. Education was his way out. At night, even when he was exhausted, Daniel reviewed his lessons. He believed that every small effort mattered. He knew success would not come quickly, but he was ready to wait and work for it. This was the moment Daniel learned an important lesson. When others doubt you, Your belief in yourself must be stronger than their words. As months passed, Daniel's life slowly began to change. He was still poor, but his mindset was no longer poor. Every day after work, he studied. He read books about history, business, and self-improvement. Sometimes he did not understand everything, but he never stopped trying. One day, Daniel's teacher noticed his progress. She saw how serious he was and how much effort he was putting into his studies. After class, she spoke to him. "Daniel," she said, "you have great potential. Have you ever thought about applying for a scholarship?" Daniel was surprised. No one had ever told him he had potential before. He felt nervous but excited at the same time. The idea of a scholarship felt too big, almost impossible. That night, Daniel could not sleep. His mind was full of questions. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? But then he remembered all the times people had doubted him. He remembered his promise to himself. Never stop believing. The next day, Daniel started preparing for the scholarship exam. He studied even harder. He woke up earlier, used every free minute, and practiced again and again. Some days were extremely difficult. He felt tired, stressed, and scared. But he told himself, "Hard work today will change my tomorrow." For the first time in his life, Daniel felt that education was not just learning. It was a way out, a key to a better future. He was still at the beginning of his journey, but now he had something powerful, hope mixed with hard work. As time passed, the boy, his name was Daniel, began to understand something very important. Talent was not enough. Many people were smarter than him, richer than him, and more confident than him. But Daniel had one thing others did not: discipline. Every morning, Daniel woke up early, even when he was tired. He studied before school and worked after school. Some days, he wanted to quit. His body was tired, and his mind felt weak. But he reminded himself why he started. He wanted a better life, not only for himself, but also for his family. At school, Daniel's grades slowly improved. Teachers noticed his effort. One teacher told him, "You may not be the best today, but you are improving. That matters." Those words stayed in his mind. For the first time, Daniel felt that someone believed in him. However, life was still hard. One day, his family faced a serious problem. His father lost his job, and money became even more limited. Daniel thought about quitting school to work full-time. It was a painful decision. Education was his hope, but family was his responsibility. After many sleepless nights, Daniel chose a difficult path. He continued studying and working. During the day, he focused on school. In the evenings, he worked long hours. It was exhausting, but he learned an important lesson. Hard times do not last, but strong people do. Slowly, Daniel became mentally stronger. He stopped comparing himself to others. He focused only on progress, small steps, every day. Discipline became his habit, not motivation. Even when motivation disappeared, discipline kept him moving forward. By the end of that year, Daniel realized something had changed inside him. He was no longer the poor boy everyone doubted. He was becoming someone who trusted himself, no matter how difficult life became. As the boy's life slowly improved, he understood one very important lesson: learning never stops. Even when he started earning a little money, he did not stop studying. In fact, he studied more than before. Every evening after work, he read books, watched free educational videos, and practiced new skills. Sometimes he was tired. Sometimes his eyes hurt. But he told himself, "This pain is temporary. Knowledge is forever." People around him began to notice the change. He spoke with more confidence. He asked better questions. He solved problems faster. Some people were surprised. Others were jealous. A few even said, "You are wasting your time. Education will not change your life." But this time, the boy did not listen. He remembered how far he had come. He remembered the days when he had nothing. And he knew one thing clearly: education had already changed his life. He also learned that success is not about luck. It is about preparation meeting opportunity. One day, a small opportunity came. A local company needed someone with basic skills and strong discipline. The boy applied. He was nervous but confident. During the interview, he spoke honestly about his past, his struggles, and his desire to grow. The interviewer listened carefully. A week later, the boy received a message that changed everything. He got the job. It was not a dream job, but it was a door to a new future, and he was ready to walk through it. By this time, Daniel was no longer just a poor boy with big dreams. He had become a disciplined and focused young man. His teachers noticed his improvement, and some of them started to support him more. One teacher even helped him apply for a small scholarship. When Daniel received the scholarship email, he could not believe it. It was not a lot of money, but for him, it meant hope. It meant that someone finally believed in his potential. That night, he showed the message to his family. His mother cried quietly, and his father smiled with pride. With his support, Daniel worked even harder. He woke up early, studied before school, attended classes during the day, and worked part-time in the evening. His life was still difficult, but now he had a clear purpose. He knew why he was working so hard. There were moments when he felt exhausted. Some nights, he fell asleep on his books. Sometimes he questioned himself. Is this really worth it? But every time doubt appeared, he remembered his past and how far he had already come. Giving up was no longer an option. Slowly, Daniel's confidence grew. He started to speak more in class and share his ideas. He realized that knowledge gave him a voice. Education was not just changing his future, it was changing how he saw himself. Daniel understood an important lesson. Hard work does not change life overnight, but it changes the direction of your life forever. As time passed, Adam reached an important moment in his life. After years of hard work, studying late nights, and constant self-discipline, he was offered his first real opportunity. A small company noticed his skills and invited him for an interview. Adam was nervous. He had never been in such a professional environment before. His clothes were simple, and his background was poor, but his mind was strong. He reminded himself, I belong here because I worked for this. During the interview, Adam spoke honestly. He talked about his struggles, his education, and his passion for learning. He did not try to impress with fancy words. Instead, he showed confidence, honesty, and determination. A few days later, Adam received a call. He got the job. This moment changed everything. It was not a high-paying job, but it was a door to a new life. Adam felt proud, not because of money, but because his effort was finally recognized. He realized that opportunities come to those who prepare themselves, even when no one is watching. That night, Adam looked at the sky and smiled. He knew his journey was not finished, but he was no longer the poor boy without hope. He was a young man with direction, belief, and a future built by education and hard work. By this time, Daniel was no longer the poor boy people once ignored. His life had changed, but more importantly, he had changed himself. He was confident, calm, and focused. He no longer tried to prove anything to others. He worked for his own growth. Daniel started giving free lessons to children from poor families. He remembered how difficult it was to study without support. Every weekend, he taught basic English and math. Some parents were surprised. Why do you help for free? They asked. Daniel smiled and said, because someone once believed in me. Now it's my turn. Teaching others made Daniel stronger. He learned that success is not only about money, but about impact. Seeing children learn and smile gave him deep satisfaction. He understood that education could change lives just like it changed his. One day, Daniel was invited to speak at a small local event. He was nervous, but he accepted. On the stage, he told his story honestly about poverty, doubt, hard work, and self-belief. Many people in the audience were emotional. Some even cried. After the speech, a young boy came to him and said, I want to be like you one day. Daniel replied gently, you don't need to be like me. Be better than me. Just don't give up. That night, Daniel realized something important. His journey was no longer only about changing his own life. It was about inspiring others to change theirs. Years passed, and the boy, now a young man, looked back at his journey. From a small, poor home where few believed in him, he had achieved what once seemed impossible. His persistence, dedication to learning, and belief in himself had changed not only his life, but also inspired many around him. He realized that success was never about luck. It was about daily effort, learning from failures, and refusing to give up. Every late night spent studying, every small task done with care, and every challenge he overcame had built the foundation for his achievements. Friends and neighbors who once doubted him now admired his transformation. But the young man knew the real reward was not fame or money. It was the confidence and knowledge he had gained and the ability to help others pursue their dreams. This story reminds us that anyone, regardless of background or circumstances, can create a better life through education, hard work, and self-belief. No challenge is too big if you commit to small, consistent actions every day.